as I covered a few days ago on my channel, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, literally the person in line to be the President of the United States, should something happen to both the President and the Vice President, was caught red-handed getting herself an illegal haircut at a salon in San Francisco. Now, no other salons are allowed to open, but Nancy made a phone call and got the salon to open just for her, and to make matters worse, she wasn't even wearing a mask when she was in the salon. Ooh, Nancy, come on, girl. So at this point, you would suspect that when there is literal video footage of this happening, it is not in dispute that this happens at all, that perhaps an apology would be in order. In fact, I saw it was on one of the news stations, I forget which one, maybe it was actually at the press conference that Nancy did, where a reporter asked her, he said, Nancy, I talked to a barber in San Francisco and he supports you, but he thinks that you owe the service industry an apology. And you know what Nancy did? Nancy doubled down and she said, no, I don't owe anyone an apology. They owe me an apology. Like, Nancy Pelosi has now reached peak Marie Antoinette. We all thought that she had reached peak Marie Antoinette when she was standing in front of her two really expensive refrigerators and showing off her very expensive ice cream. No, she was just ascending on her way up to peak Marie Antoinette status. And now we actually have a letter from Nancy's lawyer going after the owner of the salon that she called the stylist at the salon to give her that illegal haircut. So we're going to read this and mock it for every bit of mockery that we can just pull out of this letter at the fact that Nancy is a raging hypocrite, and now it's clear. I mean, it's always been clear as day, but Nancy, you've gone the extra mile here, man. So we're going to read this letter and we're going to talk about that. But folks, before we do that, if you like the content I'm producing for my channel, I'm trying to grow the audience. If you enjoy it, please consider subscribing, turning on those notifications, giving it a thumbs up. If you think you're subscribed, just go ahead and double check for me, because YouTube has been pulling some shenanigans lately on my channel. I'll tell you what. So just quickly, just double check. Just if you want to be subscribed, just make sure you are. All right, let's see what Nancy's law firm said to this salon owner. Nancy Pelosi's daughter releases letter from law firm attacking owner of a salon that Pelosi visited as a setup. And this is on the Daily Wire. Christine Pelosi, the daughter of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, released a letter from a law firm on Wednesday afternoon that attacked the owner of the salon that Pelosi recently visited in an apparent violation of coronavirus lockdown rules. A letter from the attorney, Matthew, name I'm not going to pronounce, blah, blah, blah. The letter stated, in response to press inquiries on the matter, Mr. DiNardo can confirm that he did indeed provide professional stylist services to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on August 31st, 2020. For the record, the stylist wore a mask, even though Nancy did not wear a mask, at E-Salon located in San Francisco. Mr. DiNardo at all times took requisite safety measures throughout his appointment with Speaker Pelosi, including sanitization of all service areas and wearing of CDC recommended protective equipment, and thereafter ensured the premises were similarly sanitized following Speaker Pelosi's departure. Even though Nancy did not wear the CDC recommended protective equipment. All of us, like when I go to get a haircut in New Hampshire, I have to wear that damn mask. I don't like wearing the mask, but I do it because I need to be able to, have someone shave the sides of my head that's not my husband. So, I wear the mask. Why weren't you wearing a mask, Nancy? Mr. DiNardo has worked at E-Salon for approximately 6 years and regularly communicates with salon owner Erica Caius. In fact, Mr. DiNardo received advanced approval from Ms. Caius the day prior to the appointment during a telephone discussion on August 29th. Okay, what is a salon owner supposed to do? I'm sorry, what is a salon owner supposed to do when not only your congressperson calls and says, I want a haircut, but your congressperson happens to be the Speaker of the flipping House. Do you really think that they are in a position to say, no, Nancy, we expect you to follow the guidelines that you're forcing us to live through? I guess Gavin Newsom is, but close enough because Nancy supports it all. We expect, we have to live through these guidelines, and so you're going to have to go somewhere else. Is anyone really going to say that to the Speaker of the House? I don't think so. Wherein Mr. DiNardo advised Mrs. Caius that he would not proceed with Speaker Pelosi's appointment without Mr. Caius' authorization. So she had to get approval from her husband. Okay. Miss Caius took special interest in the appointment during this telephone call, wherein she made several vitriolic and incendiary comments about Speaker Pelosi and her purported responsibility for temporarily suspending Purported? Has Nancy ever come out and said, maybe we should let people go back to work? Maybe we should let salon owners run their businesses? Has Nancy ever made that statement? And am I sniffing glue? Did I just miss this? If someone, please leave a comment if Nancy has ever come out and said, you know what, guys, it's time to open up the economy again. These salons need to get back to work because these salon owners need to be able to make a living to feed their family. If Nancy's ever said something like that, I will do a big mea culpa, but I suspect she hasn't. Her purported responsibility for temporarily suspending operations of Miss Caius's business, despite such orders actually being put in place, not by Speaker Pelosi, but by Governor Gavin Newsom. Okay, exactly. And San Francisco Mayor, Miss Caius authorized Mr. DiNardo to proceed with Speaker Pelosi's appointment. You guys really need, if this is an actual text of the letter, you guys need a copy editor or something. This is coming out of Nancy Pelosi's lawyer, and the names are not correct, and I suspect that should be Miss and not Mr. Copy editor guy. You guys are representing the Speaker of the House. Do better. The office is in possession of photographs, videos, and witness information that Miss Caius, contrary to her previous statements to the press, has actually been operating her business during stay-at-home orders. Okay, so now here is the part where Nancy Pelosi's lawyer is going to go after the salon owner for revenge, for payback on releasing that video. This office is in possession of photographs, videos, and witnesses information that Miss Caius, contrary to her prior statements to the press, has actually been operating her business during the stay-at-home orders and similar executive orders limiting in-store operations since far back as April 2020. Miss Caius is seen on photographs and video footage styling various clients' hair, ignoring social distancing guidelines, and not wearing protective equipment, masks. Very similar to Nancy, not wearing that protective equipment, as recently as a few days prior to Speaker Pelosi's arrival at E-Salon on August 31st. What's more, Miss Caius has been actively encouraging and almost forcing stylists who operate at E-Salon to violate such orders for her own financial benefit in the form of receiving lease payments. The fact that Miss Caius is now objecting to Speaker Pelosi's presence at E-Salon and from a simple surface level review of Miss Caius' political leanings, it appears Miss Caius is furthering a setup of Speaker Pelosi for her own vain aspirations. Mr. DiNardo's name has now been dragged through the mud for simply following Miss Caius' recommendation. If what this letter is saying is true and she's been operating an illicit salon without wearing masks, then why was the stylist clearly in video wearing a mask? Because he was wearing a mask in the video. Nancy was not wearing a mask. The stylist was. So if this is all true and she's been forcing her stylist to ignore the CDC guidelines, then why was he wearing a mask in the flipping video? Mr. DiNardo's name has now been dragged through the mud for simply following Miss Caius' recommendations. He wishes to move forward with his efforts to earn an income and asks that his privacy be respected during this time. And of course, a letter from Nancy Pelosi's lawyer is surely going to help his privacy to be respected during this time. The letter comes after an interview that Caius had on Fox News earlier in the evening where she completely dismissed the notion that this was any kind of setup. She had called the stylist, or her assistant did, and made the appointment. So the appointment was already booked. There was no way I could have set that up, Caius said. I've had a camera system in there for 5 years. I mean, didn't go in there and turn on the cameras as soon as she walked in to set her up. That's absolutely false. Oh, Nancy. See, this is where, like, SJWs always double down, right? Isn't that the rule? They always double down. If Nancy had been smart, she could have really played this to her advantage, I think. What she could have done is say, you know what? Mea culpa. I did it. I knew that the orders were against the salon opening, and I wanted a haircut, and I did it anyway. And you know what? Maybe it's time that we start opening up the economy. Honestly, like, if Nancy had been smart, that would have been, and I'm taking all the other politics nonsense aside, and I'm going to put it aside for a second. If you're just a person that gets caught in the act, it is smart to fess up to it. Don't resist it. This resistance, it was a setup, and I am a victim of this salon owner that hasn't been able to legally operate her business for months. I am a victim of this salon. Oh my God, woe is me. Like, that's the stupidest thing you can do in the world. You look like a moron. The best thing you can do when you're caught in the act is to admit it, do a mea culpa, and then just flow with the situation, man. You know what? Maybe it's time we talk about opening up the salons. I felt completely safe getting my haircut in the salon. They were very professional. Everything was very clean. We want people to be able to get back to business, to be able to earn a living. That would have been Nancy's smartest play by far. Would have caught a lot of people off guard if she had done that, but no. Here we are, because the Democrats cannot make these plays because they're so dug into this resistance philosophy that they can't see the damn forest through the trees. All right, guys, that's all I got for this one. I'll see you soon.